Yeah. Hey guys.
You sound
Yes.
the best
Sounds
now.
perfect.
Well, thank you for bringing that up. I forgot my stupid webcam had
Yeah.
a stupid microphone.
A stupid microphone with a stupid face. Oh, my face.
Okay.
Apologize.
So anyways, I do believe we are live.
Oh, let me take a look. See what we
Yes,
got.
I will get the chat up. And we'll wait a few moments for people to come on by, and then
I'm gonna
everyone
send
has the talking points. We're going to go into some new Lazlo goodness,
Mm-hmm.
and things will be
yeah.
well.
All right, there we go.
So last time we did the recap, I would explain some stuff and throw it to other people to take over and explain. Although Kriana,
Oh no.
unless you say, "Oh yeah, I remember this really well," maybe I should throw it to you because you'll be
Might
like, "Ah."
yeah, might be a good idea with how
Okay.
grand my memory is on everything. It's like once I get the reminders, I remember, but it's like I'm
Yeah,
like, okay,
it won't come out of nowhere.
yeah,
You need to be primed
yeah, okay,
like an
hold on.
engine, like an engine. Come on, PSYLP, there you are. I just opened up the stream and you just hear me be like, "You need to be primed like an engine." You said that really creepy, me.
What do we call this segment? Riffs, catch up?
Oh crap! I didn't change the
Podcast?
title.
Oh, then change it.
Oh no. Okay. 124 to 155. Here.
Mm-hmm. Well, you'll probably have to restart it too.
Is it like natural ketchup? Or what kind?
It's green, the
Dear
green
God,
kind.
Pip, we just had this fucking joke and this conversation literally
Yeah, but
10
with
minutes
fancy
ago.
ketchup. Excuse me, Inferno. Completely different.
Whatever.
You still have yet to tell me what kind
Oh,
of
God
ketchup.
damn it, there's a stupid tweet you're talking about. Why is there a dinosaur? Why are you giving that dinosaur a thumbs up?
All right.
He was so excited. He
That was the
so
best
excited.
cosplay.
No.
He was walking by. He's like, "Oh my god, I want a picture." The best part was that
That's a good impression.
I literally at that moment I kind of felt like a mother to Piff because I had done his hair and he was like, "I want a picture with that dinosaur."
And then she freaking walked up to the dinosaur, which must have been like a tiny lady. And she's like, "Excuse me, can you take a picture with one of my friends?" And mind you, there's a group of people because I was sitting on the bench like
There's-
behind this group of people, and I could hear like the tiny, "Sure," and then you'd be like pop up behind like, "Oh boy, I'm gonna do this."
I think there was like a toddler around there too, which was even better.
Which was also taking a picture with this dinosaur. Right after that, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm up next."
Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Is the title all changed and shit?
Yeah.
Okay,
People
I just sent out
can
the tweet.
just refresh and it'll be the new one.
Sweet. Okay. So, wait. I'm gonna give a pause so future Inferno. I know I have to make live the
The other ones.
the other podcast, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give myself a pause. Hi everyone, and welcome back to our catch-up podcast. This week we are catching up episodes 124 to 155. So the party had recently arrived in New Lazlo and helped a man named Leonardo Hanzo out with a strange symbiote that was all attached to his arm and made him all freaky. They bundled him up in a rug and sent him off to Myrna's House of Healing. Later on, by the way, if we don't get back to this, because we'll probably miss it, later on, He has to have his arm amputated, but he does actually thank the group for their help and provide them some timely financial assistance. But I remember starting episode 124, and Kriana, I think I will throw this to you.
Shit.
Because do you remember when Alicia, Amila, and Pamela had a girls' night out?
Yeah. Didn't we do makeovers or something?
Yeah, you did makeovers and stuff.
Yeah.
You drank and did makeovers. That's pretty much all that happened. There's nothing all that fancy. I do remember either Al or Squee getting jealous, or both.
Yeah.
Something like that.
He really, 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 really wanted to participate or something.
And that's the perfect thing I can do for the first request from chat. Al doing something embarrassing.
Sweet. Oh, because Piff isn't here to defend himself. Squee isn't here to defend himself. So, so after the fun little girls' night out, we started off with, I believe the Endless Storytellers were welcomed to a bit of a meet and greet, an engagement with some of the leaders of New Lazlo. However, security in New Lazlo was up pretty high because there had been a recent bombing at a public event that seriously injured one of the leaders of New Lazlo, one of the original founders of New Lazlo as well. A man named Ashwin Calabar, which the party actually meets a little bit later on. But suffice to say, the little meet and greet, you guys, the characters did meet some interesting characters. One being a elven woman, a politician named Fayette, which Sinan, the elfin Barker from the Endless Storytellers, constantly tried to woo, constantly he hounded after her.
Yeah.
But if I remember correctly, other than you guys actually meeting Ashwin Calabar, who was all bandaged up, I can't remember of anything, and meeting just some NPCs. Give me a moment as I try to dig up my old notes from that session, from that past session, to give you guys a list of some of the NPCs that you met. But do you guys remember anything of significant note? Of that meet and greet, or was it just because I honestly can't remember. I remember the party at the Painted Lodge later on, where a bunch of these people are invited, but the meet and greet was just a nice little, small party, from what I remember.
I believe that's what happened.
I'm
having a hard time.
If I recall correctly, it was just a tiny little party, more of a get-to-know-you type of deal.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, here we go. Okay. Wow, I had a whole list of... Wow. New Lazlo NPCs. So, yeah, there was Fayette, there was Ashwin Calabar, there was his second-in-command, Shauna Jade Hoyas. There was... we'll get to her very soon. Kalia Temple, she was an important person. Let's see here. Oh, Morris. Her name was Morin. Oh. Yeah, no, that was about it. Just a bunch of politicians. Okay, so we'll get past that because that wasn't super important. But the next part was a big chunk of the adventure. The playlist itself is called Morin, Lee, and Ver, and that's what we're going to talk about. 3 particular NPCs that you guys come across. Now, if I remember correctly, you guys... Now, this was the first 100% player-motivated quest. I had no planning, and I really left things open for you, New Lazlo, like what you guys want to do. And if I remember correctly, you guys wanted to find a shifter, someone who could travel between dimensions and manipulate ley lines.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct?
Yes, because we wanted to help out Ver. Specifically.
Yes, you sure did. You did want to help out Ver, the fire warlock who was helping all those fire elementals in the ever-burning forest. Now, I can't remember exactly how you got this information, but you were told that there was a shifter named Morin who resided in New Lazlo, who could... You were given two choices, that's right, between two people, between like a proprietor of a store named Kontar or a soldier named Morin, and you guys decided to go try to check out the soldier, Morin. And you show up at her house, and you see, it was fantastic, actually. You open up the door, and there's this woman who answers. She's a little bit on the older side. But I remember, I think it was Al who just started going into what he was looking for. It turns out this woman who introduced herself as Catherine was most certainly not Morin. She was a caregiver, for lack of a better word. Because Morin is a strange character. She has a birthmark on her cheek, a pretty large one, a young woman, but there's clearly something wrong with her. She speaks very slowly and very distantly. She barely focuses on anyone, and she speaks very strangely. And she's difficult, challenging to communicate with. You find out from Catherine that she's a part of the New Lazlo military because she has a very special and unique ability in order to sense when ley lines are about to open within a certain radius. So she's kind of used as an early detection system. Everything sounding good so far from you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Yeah.
Does anyone want to pick up from where I'm leaving off, or shall I continue for a little bit?
Let's see. I guess I can try to take a hand at it, but I'm not quite sure if I'm going to get all the details.
Okay. Well, I'm here to help you out.
All right.
We're all here to help you out.
So we then meet Morin, and we talked with her directly and how her feelings are about this particular thing. I believe we mentioned to her that we are trying to help orphans-ish in that kind of context.
Okay, yeah.
And she seemed to gravitate towards that and want to do this. Though the caregiver and very shortly after that, the military was very
yes.
Yeah. was not particularly too happy about the news that their defense may be down for a bit. We set up a time frame that we would try to bring this lady back, as well as we were going to have somebody help us out to make sure she came back in one piece. And we were directed towards another character named Lee.
He was residing in a place called the Dishonored Priest, a bar and kind of like a flop house type of thing. You're right on everything, although one small detail is that Shauna Jade Hoyas said the last time Morin went out on her own, she went missing for months, and they had to send a search party looking for her. And one of the shifter that she recommended, this Lee Stooks, was one of the people who went out looking for her and brought her back, and the only one of that team that is still in Lazlo. The other ones are gone, so he's kind of like the only choice that you guys had if you wanted to get a shifter. I also remember when you were initially meeting Morin, that Mila tried to do a telepathic communication to kind of read her surface thoughts, and she didn't get any thoughts, she just got the image of a giant eyeball.
Yeah, I remember that.
Indeed. Anyways, feel free to continue. You guys meeting with Lee. I'll step back here for a moment.
Does anybody else want to pick it up?
I mean, Tom, you're the one who got puked on. Maybe this would be a perfect time for you. Tom got puked on. Burn. Maybe this is the perfect time for you to pick it up. If you don't want to, it's fine.
No, I think you guys are doing just fine. I mean, To be honest, it's been a while, and
Yeah, of course, that's fine.
the first meeting with Lee, as you just mentioned, was not the best.
Yeah. So, yeah, the guys go into this bar. They find him lounging at the bar itself. They make an agreement to pay Lee money, although he doesn't seem all excited about the prospect, but he needs the cash. So he agrees. He pukes on Tom, and you all, the whole party, heads on out. And they go back to the spot near that kind of ley line connection, where they first initially met the Dubyuck, which was a few miles away from the burning forest. Piff, you want to take it up from there? Or anyone else?
So we got to Morn, and we got Lee, and she opened up the portal. Is that where we're
Well,
at?
yeah. First you had to talk with Ver and tell him what your plan was, and he was very, very surprised, but he went along with it. He gathered up all the fire elementals, and they followed you to the ley line itself.
Yes, we went through a portal very close to where Ver was. We explained to him that we have come to hopefully transport the lost fire elementals back to their dimension.
Home plane of fire, yeah.
He was confused, skeptical, but more than willing since we were close-ish.
Yeah.
We knew each other well enough, and probably his hope for this being true has driven him to do this. This particular part was really, I like this a lot because it was something quite new in most fantasy things that I was known to understand.
Exposed to?
Yeah, exposed to, thank you. So a portal opened, and pretty much it led out to, I'm not entirely sure what the background was, but there was a fairly large, completely fire molten being, humanoid-esque. It seemed to have noticed the portal being opened and the fire elementals, and reached his hand into it.
Out through the rift.
Out through the rift, and the fire elementals joined with this being, and it pulled back, and it closed. Now, there's a lot of details and things like that I would recommend actually watching the video itself for that one, but that was a really neat moment for me as a player. After that, Ver was incredibly thankful. This was exactly what his life goal was for such things. He wanted to basically he was caretaking for these beings until he found a way to send them back to their plane, and now his goal has been complete. He is extremely thankful, and actually, I believe, sets out. Maybe not immediately right then and there, but he has been kept generally in this flaming forest, and now he can now he's free from that singular place that he's been in. We don't really know what he's up to after that for the most part.
Well, for the most part, he does say, I do remember you guys almost inviting him over into the group, and he explained that you helping him achieve that goal means that he can wander the earth and continue, because he explained that fire elementals are summoned out from another plane of existence into our world, and many times they're left orphaned, which is why you guys explained to Morin that to help some orphans. They're left orphaned, and they can't go back. and they're stuck here on the planet, right? He doesn't think that's fair, and a lot of unscrupulous spellcasters do this. And his job is almost to free his elemental brothers and sisters, his big brothers, from this type of bondage. So the Federation of Magic, for sure, is known for doing stuff like that. So he said he was going to wander the Earth and find more and try to help them. And you knew he was going to head south at some point, but that was about it. He was going to go on his own path and continue his stewardship, for lack of a better word.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in essence, you guys did part ways very gratefully as well.
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't all.
No.
Still, you wanna, yeah. Have you continue on there, Piff, or anyone else?
Yeah, I'll continue.
Okay.
So, we've done our job, and Lee's better than when we first met him, being a very pukey drunk. Now has sobered up-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Morin is still talking a lot about her. I think it was very much a. It's not like I am better than you sort of thing. It's more of like a you're not really even a blip on my radar sort of thing.
Yeah, there was a time where Morin had to. Well, this happened actually afterwards. Keith. Afterwards, Keith. I have a friend named Keith. I've been seeing him for a while, and I don't know why I called Pip Keith. He doesn't even sound anything like him, but whatever. This arrest moment actually happens after a certain gate opens up.
Okay.
Because soon after Morin closes the gate to the elemental, she goes, "Wait, I hear other orphans crying out for me, their voices." And then she opens another gate, and a bunch of fucking Zaitokick show up. So,
yeah.
those of you who don't know what Zaitokick are, they're flying humanoid bug people who are extremely aggressive, do not speak the native tongue, and fire before they speak. And so I believe 6 of them are shot out, in which the party engaged in some fun little bits of combat.
Yeah.
Remember,
Tom
Milo
almost
was
died
jumping
again.
around. Yeah, Tom almost died again. He got shot a lot. He had to keep moving on his bike to make it harder to hit him. Milo was jumping around. Patrick was shooting wings off, I remember. And
I
Pamel
was driving around as well, actually, I believe.
Oh yeah. You shot off some. Maybe it was Al that was shooting wings off then.
That was like way at the end.
Yeah, I was preventing some of them from escaping. But pretty much Lee's like, "Oh God, close the gate, close the gate, close the gate." And Pamel actually managed to use some of her psychic powers to kind of make Morin go nappy time and sleep, which ended up closing the gate, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you guys had a little bit of a row with the Zaitokick, and after they were all killed, you made sure none of them escaped, because goodness knows they could have caused some serious problems. Then it's realized that Morin is kind of out of energy, for lack of a better word, to open up another rift so you guys can jump quickly home from that location to New Lazlo. So the debate is, do we go back on foot and miss our deadline with Hoyas and have Shauna Jade be pissed off? Or do we wait the night, have Morin recuperate herself, and trust that she will open another gate? Like the right one this time. Lee said, we can't trust the space cadet. She'll have no idea what she's doing. We should do it on foot. But the party decided to wait. They decided to give Morin another shot. And it's then, during that recuperation, that like Al in particular went to talk with her to try to understand her, and she said to him, "You're like an ant trying to understand the sun. It's just completely out of your spatial thinking, right? But yeah. I completely took over on that, but
Oh, it's good.
I completely took over on that. So tell you what, I'm going to finish it up, and then I'm going to have the next one. I know I've said this before. Last week I was good. I mean, last time I was good, and I didn't do anything. The time before, not so good. I'll wrap this up. The party ended up heading back towards New Lazlo. The gate did open up. They got to the right location. They got back to New Lazlo in time. Morin was able to go back on her next tour of duty. I also remember, oh my god, Al chewing out Shauna Jade Hoyas and be like, so you're keeping her as like a slave to do what you want, right? And she's like, no, she's a part of the military, and she can't go AWOL whenever she wants. And that kind of shut Al up. And he's like, oh, I never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
But, so, as a small interlude between this adventure and the next one that involves Tom, there is a certain fellow, a certain crazy that you all met in the dead of night.
The Cosmic Whip!
I'll just set it up. I'll set it up, and then I'll leave it up to you. Because Al thought there's a big notice board at the front of New Lazlo in which people can leave messages to each other. And there's a guy nearby for those who are illiterate. He can write messages for them for a small price. And Al was going to be really cute, and he decided to put like this vague message of like, meet me here at this park at a certain time, because he was still very paranoid that the Coalition was following the Endless Storytellers, right? And he thought, it could be nothing, or it could be contact with Nathan Heathcote, right? He wanted to kind of get the drop. So sure enough, I believe it was Al and Mila. Who was all there at the park waiting in the middle of the night?
I was there.
Yeah, you sure were. And I know Al was there.
I think it was just
Patrick.
two.
It was just you two? Okay.
I think it was.
But Vern and Piff overheard everything, and they can explain just as well as anyone else.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to shut up. I promise I won't say anything until someone asks me to. Take it away, guys.
Piff.
Okay, so I can't remember the names the Cosmic Whip used or how he exactly introduced himself. I know the end results of something we destroyed. That's all I can remember, though.
He never introduced himself. He did have a real name, but you found out later. He only introduced himself as the Cosmic Whip, and he served the Cosmic King, and I'm explaining it again, so I'm going to shut up.
To be honest, I'm having a hard time remembering the entire conversation.
I
Do you want me to do
remember.
this?
I remember.
Yeah.
He was talking about some great evil in New Lazlo, some great evil, and then he reaches down and picks up a bug and squishes it and says, "I have done it. I have vanquished it."
Yes.
Went on and on.
Yes, okay, all right. If it's okay by you guys, I'll articulate a few of the details, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're waiting in the middle of the night. They listen to a couple argue, and then just proves how great my stupid memory is for this bullshit. Anyway, so they listen to a couple argue. It's fine, whatever. Mila's up a tree. Al's hanging out by a swing set. All of a sudden, they see this strange guy. He's prowling around, right? He's going all low, and he's dressed in a lot of black clothes, with the exception of his head, which he has these tufts of hair colored differently, and it's very clear he has mind over matter implants. He goes, "I got your message." And Squee's like, "What?" Or Al's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Do you serve him too?" And I was like, "Sure." And he goes, "Oh, good, I found someone else who serves the Cosmic King. I am the Cosmic Whip to the Cosmic King." At this point, both Mila and Al have realized they met a Mr. Cuckoo Pants guy. But this guy starts talking about, like, you can finally help me stop the great evil of the Arthanach, right? He says this
Yeah.
guttural word, and he's really drumming up like how evil and corrupt and how it's infesting New Lazlo. And Al's like, oh, we got to check this out. Like, if there's an evil, right? So sure enough, him and I think Mila comes along too. For funsies, or she's still climbing a tree. I can't remember. Do you remember if Mila comes along with the adventure?
Yeah,
She might have
Trying to
fallen
stop the
asleep.
rain. Yeah, she comes along. As she comes along, he gets it to this dark alley. He goes, "We're almost there," and he lifts up a cobblestone, and you see this stupid little millipede, and Al just, and he goes, "There it is," and he's like quivering and scared, and Al just reaches over and squishes it, and the Cosmic Whip is just overjoyed. He's ecstatic. And so Al decides to try to subdue him by using his little needle thing to give him a sedation in a part of his bionic arm, that needle attachment. And I remember he sticks the Cosmic Whip when the Cosmic Whip is like hugging and nestling into Squee because he vanquished this great evil. And he pricks the Cosmic Whip, and before he falls asleep, the Cosmic Whip says, "Your kisses taste like pain," or something like that, or like your kisses taste sharp, or something like that. It was ridiculous, but enough. He fell asleep, and we deal with the Cosmic Whip. Although they did make contact with Nathan that night. A woman. A destitute woman came by to pass a small message on to Al about saying to meet him someplace to meet him someplace soon for dinner. So before we get over to, wait a second, did this happen before or after Tom got kidnapped? Maybe this happened after Tom got kidnapped.
Which
Oh,
bit?
we're out of order. It totally did, because later on you meet Nathan, and then you do a thing with Nathan. Yeah, there's a picture of the Cosmic Whip.
Yeah,
There
I was
he is.
looking for him.
Yeah.
There he is. So we might have done this slightly out of order. So after the Cosmic Whip, just know that they made contact with Nathan. They talk with him later on. And
Yeah.
we'll get to that next session. Because I remember the big reveal of Nathan actually being in town. No, this was before. It was just a vague message. Nathan didn't say to meet him anywhere. It was just, you know what it was? The message was like, to Al was just like, be careful what you're doing. It was like a general message of warning. It was really, really vague. So you guys just knew that Nathan was around, but you never met him or saw him again in New Lazlo.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was. Okay. So, to our final topic of the evening, the kidnapping of Tom. Now, does any of the other players remember this well enough?
I drew a picture of that as well. I'll find out while you guys be productive.
Okay.
I remember it enough.
Okay. Do it, man. Do it. I feel bad for being the main talker, but I'm also the nerd who remembers all this shit.
And I'm the nerd who forgets basically everything.
But you can draw, so that's okay.
Yeah, that
And you
helps.
play Mila great.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
It's true. You play I honestly think that when Kevin Simbita pictured how crazies work, like your roleplay is a perfect example of that. Anyways, but enough ass kissing. Go ahead, Piff. Start us scrolling.
No, please, by all means. I'm kidding.
Please.
Continue.
Kriana
how
is
great
the
I
art
am.
assets nerd.
Hey, boy.
Hey,
Call me nerd.
that's from Grimmith, okay?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're getting off.
Oh.
Let's
Damn it,
not be
Grimmith.
distracted by Grimmith. Let's get on Tom's kidnapping.
So, let's see if I can remember exactly how this started out.
Okay.
So Tom was walking around the streets, being Tom,
Not quite. He was performing with the Endless Storytellers.
walking around. And he was a street performer. on the streets and performing, I guess, if you really want to put that. And I don't know exactly how this meetup met, but he met a lady.
Mm-hmm.
I think she said.
approached him after one of the shows.
I think she mentioned something about her being like him or something like that.
She had a brother who seemed to recently have some similar fire powers, but he can't control them, and he's been hurting himself and other people, and she's hoping he would come by and help him out.
And Tom had interest because he went with her. And when he got to the location, I believe he did inform the party that he was doing this. No?
No, he
this
went
was
on
just-
his own.
This was just after a show.
Yeah, no. The party finds out Tom gets kidnapped by Mila's psychic powers, but we're getting too ahead of ourselves.
Yes. Yes. So he goes with the lady, and I believe like a general nondescript house, and got in there. Almost immediately gets jumped and I believe sedated.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He gets zapped and then he gets drugged.
I believe they're having a little bit of difficulty keeping him under.
They are.
Mm-hmm.
But they have done such things, and they have taken Tom, and that's where our little group starts figuring that out, where Mila starts getting some warnings, and then basically says something's wrong, and then leaps out, and Alan Patrick is just like, we gotta trust Mila and all this, so we freaking also jumped into whatever action may be going on and starts trying to find Tom. I believe we... What was it? How did we even start finding Tom? Because I think we went to the house that he was picked up at.
What happened is that they retraced the steps and they went back to the Endless Storytellers and they talked to the Firebrand. And the Firebrand is like, oh yeah, he ran off. There was a cute little girl he was talking with. He probably went off to have some fun or to go on a date with her. And he put her in the general direction. And you're able to, from that information, the general description, able to hunt down the house which this woman resides in, and you interrogated the woman as to what happened. She explained that she was paid off by a mercenary company who works with the coalition called the Cobalt Fists, I believe, and that she was explained by them that Tom was a dangerous criminal and that they'd pay her handsomely to help, bring him into a trap so he can be sent back to the coalition and similarly executed.
Right. I do believe that is out of order. That was after Tom came back to the group that we confronted her.
Well, then I can't remember how else they would know that he was on a caravan heading towards the coalition.
If I recall correctly, it was just a lot of detail given to Mila. But I could be wrong. But when we actually went and confronted her.
Yeah, maybe it was just detail given by Mila's vision, because you're right. How else would they going to find the house unless Tom said, there, that was the house?
Yeah.
Because they do use the house for later on for another adventure.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah, you're right. So I guess I this is one of the details that I can't recall, but they do find out that he's heading in a caravan. Maybe there's some triangulation involved.
Yeah, I remember
Patrick's
there was laser used by Patrick.
That was after we knew generally that he was taken by vehicle.
Yeah.
I guess we can pick up from there. At
Sure, yeah.
some
Let's
point,
just because that's the important.
Yeah.
The important thing is that somehow they found out. I know,
We-
great writing.
Yeah.
Listen to the episode, you'll figure out why. We're all
Yes.
going on shitty memory.
We basically were going down and just. I believe we found out which direction he was going because of like knowing where the like nearest coalition place was, and generally finding I think some tire tracks or something like that. And then we start going in that direction, and we're trying to find this particular thing. We're assuming that it's large enough to at least carry a person in. Which really is just any vehicle. I can't remember the details. It's so long ago, but we were trying to find whatever the thing is that is taking Tom, and we're going in that direction. And at a certain point, we kind of lost the direction. I believe there was some triangularity at that point where it was just like we're going to have to fan out and just hopefully one of us can find
Have
this.
a search party. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because some deer, a trail of deer kind of fucked things up or something like that. I remember deer kind of screwed things up and everyone said I was trolling the party. Yeah.
And there was one point where Patrick found some broken down limbs and things like that on a trail, which seemed weird. And with the power of lasers, found out that it was high-powered beam shots to knock down this for a larger vehicle going down the line relatively recently. So informed the party that it was that direction, and then shortly after we came across a scene. Now, I'm losing too many details as it is. I think I'll trade this off at
to
this
me.
point. Yeah.
All right, woo! 95% continues. So, yes, they found the trail, and during this entire time, during Tom being kind of put into this truck and a lot of the journey, he's been fading in and out and been able to do some of his own actions. He was trying to like melt his way out of the mega damaged chassis, but he just wasn't able to. But sure enough, these mercenaries are down the path, and from a distance, you guys hear fighting, explosions. The party goes to investigate, and they find the smoldering ruins of the Cobalt Fist caravan. The truck that Tom was in laying to one side, and a couple Cobalt Fists kind of running off in the distance. And turns out it was a detachment of Sorkin's Pride, another mercenary company, one that has a certain Nathan Heathcote as the executive officer of. And sure enough, this is where Nathan makes his another grand appearance in the story, where him and his cadre kind of, for lack of a better word, saved Tom. Mm-hmm. Tom is able to get out of. He kind of blows open the doors of the van, of the truck, and everyone kind of gets back together. They regroup at this battle scene. And there's a lot of conversations with Nathan, and he explains that, if you guys would have blamed him for Tom being kidnapped or thought he had something to do with it, and if that happened, then you'd let out his blackmail, and he doesn't want that to happen. So he intercepted these radio signals of what was planned, and he decided to make a decision, which is to kill these people and let Tom go for now. And it is at this point now that they agreed to meet at the Painted Lodge for some dinner and to have a chat that wasn't in the middle of a smoldering heap of vehicles and bodies. Am I right in all that? Am I missing anything in particular?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Although, Kriana, you are drawing a great part where I remember.
Yeah.
Oh, there was tons of them. I'm gonna try to note quite a few after the.
Yeah, do it.
So
Well, we finished the last little part of our recap. We'll continue on with the recap, guys, next week, where that conversation with Nathan starts a whole other adventure chain. But before we get into the question part, let's fill in some fun little details, little character moments here that we missed when we glossed over the big plot points. So go ahead, Piffy.
So Lee was extremely polarizing to the team. Most of them did not like him at all.
Mm-hmm.
To a point of really making his day just the worst.
Yeah.
It was kind of deserved, though, because Lee was also kind of a real raging asshole.
Well,
yes, he was.
As far as Tom was concerned, when he first encountered the party, he kind of got on Tom's bad side by puking on him and never apologizing at all.
Yep.
So, yeah.
I believe Al was being kind of a it's probably not polite to say righteous prick. What's a better term for righteous prick?
Righteous prick. I think it's
a selfish ass?
Those are not good alternatives.
A person who was concerned about another person's actions that might be hurting himself. There you go.
Nosy?
But in a forward kind of way where he
pushy.
Really
abrasive.
Abrasive.
So Al was Al.
Yeah.
And
Ooh,
he
sanctimonious.
Did not approve of Lee's drinking because he of course had a problem, as well as any sort of thing around that, like smoking or whatnot. Like Lee was asking about booze, about having a light for a cigarette, things like that. And most times people would either ignore him, or what Pamel's doing right now is taking Lee's personal flask and I think chucking it off a cliff.
Yeah.
I believe was that what happened there.
Yeah.
So, IHTPF01 in the chat brought a big point. Inadvertently, Lee brought the mercenary company, the Cobalt Fists, to the knowledge of Tom. Because there was a small, when you were first recruiting Lee to hunt down Morin, he had himself a small problem with some thugs coming after him. Some Cobalt Fist thugs dressed in those fatigues. And the party kicked their butts. And Tom showed off his powers, and Pamela showed off her powers. And there was a small little street fight, which we completely forgot about.
Yeah.
And that's how they found out about Tom. And because they were probably, looking for revenge or seeing how can we get one on these guys, and then boom, 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 all of a sudden, Tom, most wanted, chance for cash, right? So they planned out this kidnapping well in advance. It wasn't a spur of the moment type of thing. So yeah.
But even in that particular fight, there was, I believe, were you fighting another lady, Kriana? Because I remember you breaking somebody's nose.
After way back in Parents Post.
I think I broke someone else's body part.
Oh yeah, no, you broke her jaw and you broke this one's nose. Yeah, you did a lot of face breaking in this game.
Yeah. Oh, did we ever talk about Mila's mood swings? Is that?
No. Go ahead and let's talk about it, because there's been a few of them.
Because I believe it's after the neck snapping incident. Mila. Did we talk about Mila taking Al aside and talking to him?
No, but that did happen since then. So let's go ahead and talk about it.
Al was in the know, but Patrick and Tom had not known yet.
No.
She had taken Al aside and had Al touch her head That sounds weird. And then Al could feel little probes sticking out of her skull. And Mila admitted that she was not currently Mila. She was a woman named Nora. Mila has a split personality disorder, and Nora is a bit of a righteous bitch. So, yeah.
I also remember Mila during the downtime rest between the Zaitokick fight and opening up a new rift. Her hiding like behind a rock and fidgeting with a revolver.
Yeah, that's
trying to get
right.
it working.
Yeah, it went off and she screamed, and yeah, that was humorous and sad.
It was.
Much of Mila is that.
Any other details during that session that we missed, or you guys want to articulate on?
There was another one for Lee. Basically, nobody wanted to deal with Lee whatsoever. But Patrick was sympathetic or naive or both. And was talking with Lee, and he was trying to get a light. Patrick took one of his flashlights and broke it open to get the coils shown, and had that to heat his cigarette to light it.
That's right, because no one even had a light for his damn cigarette. No one's going to help him except for Patrick. Later on, I think Patrick gave him like a recipe to moonshine too, didn't he?
Yes, I think as a I'm sorry, or something along those lines. Something was brought up of him giving him a recipe to moonshine. A few episodes back, he won a whole bunch of moonshine, and kind of between now and then, kind of took down the separated into different elements and found out what was actually inside of it, and like the amounts and whatnot. And actually got the recipe, and probably still has the recipe to the moonshine.
Yeah, he still does. It's probably still on his personal computer.
Yeah. Which battery acid is involved, so that's cool.
Yep. Wow. That's right. Also, I'm loving this picture, by the way. Fucking Pamel's expression.
You had to tell me when did we get to the part where Lee invited him to go drinking?
No, that's after. No, you know what? You're right. After the Morn adventure. Oh, you know what? Let's do that, because you're right. Because Lee does show up later on in New Lazlo, but in a different context. He shows up as an introduction to the black market, and then much later on when you guys are about to leave and you're looking for something else, but we'll get to that later. You're right. After the adventure with Morin, Lee acknowledges that Patrick was the only nice one. He goes, you know what? We should go drinking sometime. And Patrick takes him up on it. So go ahead. Let's talk about that real quick.
So, Patrick got invited, and to be polite and not to turn him down, he was like, okay, we can hang out in a bar, because that's not the first time he's gone out with people to a bar and have not drinking anything. Like it's partaken. So he goes with Lee, and he gets to see his drunk side. Which is very loud, boisterous, and a little mean in a few different. Yeah, a little mean, yeah. Because during the time he was just like, "Hey." So I think it was just like a bet of like, I'll bet you some odd amount or something
50
like
credits,
that.
yeah. Or the next drink or something, yeah.
Something like that, about like these two people and like how they're going to interact. And Patrick chose one, and I think he used his powers to like spill a drink on one of them.
You smash a bottle upside someone's head, actually.
That's right. And it starts getting very rowdy in there and whatnot. And what Lee actually had for his bet was definitely looking like he was succeeding, and also looked like the bar is getting more and more bar fighty. So Patrick quickly went, "All right, here's your money." Actually, did give him the recipe for the booze, the moonshine, but he did it in a way that only Patrick would usually give information to people in the most technical term possible.
That's right, like on an equation on a napkin.
Yeah. And the last thing that Patrick saw was Lee being very happy about winning the bet and then getting socked in the face.
Yeah, that's the last. And I thought that would be the last image you guys would ever see of Lee.
Yep.
But nope. Not at all. Anything else you want to go over before we go into the Q&A portion of the little podcast?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. We'll answer questions for the next 10 minutes or so before we take a small break so we can start our weekly Rifts game. So if you have any questions about our characters or Rifts in general, as long as the questions don't pertain to plot events that happen after the podcast that we just talked about, before the podcast, before the campaign that we talked. Okay, let's try the words again. No future plot spoilers in your questions. There we go.
Yeah.
How special are Morans? Like, how many Morans are there? Can't answer that. Sorry, that's a little too pertaining, considering the party, in particular Al, is very concerned about helping her. That detail will be given in time, once that is further explored by the group.
Yeah. We don't even know, like, right now, so, yeah.
Exactly. I keep cards pretty close to my chest. I like to keep the players guessing. Luca asks, what would your favorite part of the Rifts setting itself be? Okay, so each of us can answer that question if we want. My favorite part of the Rift setting, 3 favorites. 1, post-apocalyptic. I love post-apocalyptic stuff. 2, I think power armor is really awesome. And 3, I love psionics and everything that they can do.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, I'll
Yeah.
do the next one.
Okay.
Do it.
My one thing that I really, really enjoy about Rifts is its kind of weird mesh of realistic and anything is possible. Where everything in the game is actually flexible enough that, like, if you question, like, how would this work? You can look it up in real life and get a very fine, minute detail about exactly how that would work. And then you can freaking giant robots, magic, psychic people that can do crazy things, and all different colors of different settings, and like it's not like when you play D&D and you're just like, what kind of gun are we actually going to put in here? In Rifts, it's just like, here's all of the freaking guns of the rainbow, and then some, and then there's also time travel, which then can go into this thing, and they're just like, how do these weapons work in this time? They're like, well, even if we don't have rules for that, you could probably figure it out because our damage is actually kind of based on real-world things. So it's one of those things where it's like, if you want to know how things work, the game can give you answers, or at least a good enough answer, and it goes over everything.
Cool. We'll get to the questions here in the chat, but we'll give everyone here a chance to answer Luca's question.
I like the idea of power armor, magic, and psionics, and while in the normal base game they don't really mix, we have allowed them to mix, and I think that's kind of neat. the idea of being in a huge set of power armor and then, if needed, relying on some kind of psychic ability. It's really cool.
For me, I don't know if this is necessarily a RIFTS thing more than it is an R thing, but I do like how, I'd say my favorite part is how things can go from like just fine to just straight up hell in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
That can kind of be, that's a both thing, I think. That can happen
Yeah.
in just riffs in general and just how we do things.
Well, exactly. Like a lot of, RIFTS opens up the doors, and then we, and especially you, Inferno, just like cram the door like full with shit
Blow
all
off
of
the
a sudden.
hinges.
Yeah, exactly.
Has anybody seen the opening to Mortal Kombat 2? Live action Mortal Kombat?
No.
I don't
No.
think I ever, no.
No.
Wait, you mean Apocalypse or Armageddon?
I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat Armageddon.
But it basically opens up right after the ending of the first movie where, like, yeah, we did it, guys, and then they look up and portals start opening up all over the freaking, like, sky, and ninjas start raining down. You're like, the fuck?
Yeah, that can
That's kind of like rips. So here, the answer to two questions. Both Cobras and Grimerime. Oh my god, Grimer. Whatever. Grimer. Is both. It has to do with psionics. Yes, Cobra. Psionics is all about the mind. In fact, in one of the Rift's books, it describes a mind melter, a really powerful psionic, can just go into like a cafe or a restaurant and create complete chaos while he's like slowly eating his meal. Because it just takes mental concentration, not physical exertion. So yeah, I mean, it's up to the players to, emote as much as they want to, but in reality, I mean, Tom could just be as calm as possible while like fire rages around him. This is fine. I can handle this.
This is fine.
And Grimer, the difference between psionics and magic, as far as risks go, are twofold. They're kind of cousins. That they're cousins in how sometimes they bleed into each other, but very, very rarely. Psionics is something that you're born with. There are some implants in the world that can kind of grant psychic powers, like the mind over matter, because that enhances the brain. But for the most part, you are either born psionic or you're not. It's a gift, right? Kind of like a mutation with the X-Men, right? No one can learn to become psionic. And it's all mental prowess. It's you don't cast, you don't have an incantation, you don't wave your hands around. It's just thought willpower. The energy is called ISP, inner strength points. The magic, on the other hand, is something that anybody can learn. Magic is very much like the D&D type of stuff, right? Where it's shaping mystical energy around you, drawing mystical energy from the environment and yourself, saying an incantation, and waving your hands around. Sometimes there's ritual magic as well, which is more involved. But it's a learned thing. Anyone can do it, which is actually one of the reasons why the Coalition is terrified of it, because unlike a weapon that you can regulate, and psionics, which you can control and register, if anyone can learn magic, that means anyone can fire a fireball at you. That's like giving everyone in the world like an AK-47.
Yeah.
Maybe not the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
So there you go. Also, Dan Perrin mixed with Nathan Drake or something. Nice. That's close to what Dan Perrin looks like.
I can't remember what he looks like. I think he has a scar and he's got some like facial hair.
Yes, but otherwise, you're pretty close.
But then he's also Nathan Drake, because this was a Twitter request.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Flashes.
Flashes. All right, any other questions? But, yeah, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, Piffy.
Yeah.
Doki doki.
Yes.
Did you just say doki doki?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
you become such a weeaboo.
Doki doki. Genperen-san.
Parent-san. Senpai. I guess Parent would be kind of like a senpai. Not
Those
quite.
beautiful lips. Taken like one of my favorite NPCs and reduced him to
Yeah.
an anime schoolgirl.
This. Oh well. We'll wait a few more minutes to see if there's another question or two, and then we'll continue on. Take a small 5-minute break and.
Good.
Do our
I
thing.
really, really have to poop.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, well, with that, maybe.
Maybe a
You know,
10-minute
last time
break.
you mentioned this, I managed to cut it out, but I don't think I can this time. Or, you know, I don't think I'm going to let myself. I think I'm going to let it be immortalized on the internet now.
That's fine.
Because
It's not the first time I've said that on the internet. I'm guessing it's not going to be my last. Everybody poops.
point.
Be proud of it.
Oh, okay. All right. So Sonic Hedgehog asks, "Oh yeah, we still want to do the peek of the character sheet. Sorry, ITFH. Things been kind of crazy with our group the past couple weeks, but we keep reminding us, and we will do it.
We
will.
Did we want to do current ones?
Yeah, you can show your current one if you want.
Yeah, I can show mine. Let's
Okay.
see. Inferno's game. Character sheets. Tom, I think this is the correct one. Yeah, level 10. Boop. And I think, yeah.
There you go. And in the recording, you can pause it and give it a read if you want to. Silent Hedgehog, I don't know if we can answer that question. Not because it's a bad question, it's actually an excellent question. Have any parts of your character's growth come as a shock to you as players? But we're still in the first, I'd say, like 1/3 of the adventure so far. And some of the character growth moments might be coming after what we've been talking about in the podcast so far. So, maybe we'll answer the question. Up until this point in New Lazlo, has there been any part in your character's growth that has come to a shock to any of you?
Oh, I know.
All right.
It's kind of not really a character spoiler, but Nora confronted Al about when he was so adamant on not killing that. What was that little twerp's name that I killed?
I can't remember her name. I haven't written it down somewhere, but she was the
thing.
DB. She was the small DB who masqueraded as a child. Yeah,
Yeah, and then I snapped her neck.
sure did.
Ever since then, I've made it, or at least try to. I might fuck up every now and then because I'm human, but Nora does not kill a defenseless enemy anymore. That's a trait I didn't think would happen, but yeah, she no longer approves of it because Al is such a goody two-shoes.
He's rubbed off on her. You gotta let Squee know that, unless you have already.
No, he doesn't need to know that fact. I'll just go to his head.
At the time, where did you see your characters going mentally?
Mentally. Well, yeah, that's a loaded question for me.
Answer us,
Although
Kriana.
Although there was a really fun moment after meeting the Cosmic Whip. I remember your character in particular, Nora, was getting like kind of scared at like, is this what I'm gonna fucking become? Like a deranged maniac?
That's right. Okay, so yeah, Nora and Al, since he was in the know that Nora was fucking crazy, they went to find the Cosmic Whip when he was on one of his good days, and out at the not a hospital, but like it was like
the House of Healing, Myrna's House of Healing.
Yeah. They go there to visit him, and Al goes with her, and she kind of freezes when he comes by and like basically does not want to associate herself with him, but it's quite apparent that she is nervous as to what she and Mila will become as far as the crazy factor goes. And then I think she fell asleep.
She
And
ded. and
Al
that was
let her
fun.
drop
No,
to
no, he tried to catch her, but he failed in
the.
time.
Yeah, but she was asleep, so he was like, "Oh, thank God, not awake."
That's right. That's absolutely right.
See, I remember things
Mm-hmm.
sometimes.
You sure do. Nuanced. Yeah, you've made a very nuanced schoolgirl, Perrin.
Yeah.
Nathan Drake.
It's getting.
It's now just become a hybrid of horror.
Yeah, it's really. This is not good. This is really bad.
So, anyways, should we pause here?
Yeah, let's pause here, and we're gonna take a break so Karana can take care of a few things,
Yeah, pooping.
and we'll see you guys very, very soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye.